I heard stories of strange things people claim to see out in the woods and wherever else, but I've been hunting for decades, and I ain't seen shit. Even if I did, I'd be shooting first and asking questions later. Mystery solved. Well, when opportunity knocked, things got complicated. I'm not much of a sport hunter. My aim is something to fill my freezer. Every November, I go up to Meeker for cow elk. My family leases a good-sized property that comes with a little cabin to keep out of the weather. I have decided to skip the last few seasons, and I'll tell you why. My brother-in-law Josh and his teenage son Isaac came along for the hunt in 2019. We all get along fine, so why not? The more the merrier. We got to the cabin late afternoon. It's got no electric or running water, so I took pleasure in introducing Isaac to the necessary, that is the outhouse around back. He was less than enthused. Josh and I each had a good laugh. After some steaks, we crashed for the night. As tends to happen with age, I awoke in the night to answer the call. I strapped on my headlamp, grabbed a roll, and made my way. Of course, for protection against curious wildlife, I took a large caliber tool with me. It's big and loud and will put a nice big hole in something, if need be. Just as soon as I arranged myself comfortably, I could hear footfalls coming around the cabin toward my location. Assuming Josh, who is of a similar age, was the source, I called out, "Take a number, Chief." He stopped, but no reply. Must still be asleep, I figured. I'm carrying on with my business when I hear the footsteps start up again. They stopped on my left, just outside the wall of the outhouse. A little privacy'd be nice. No response. I'm not ashamed, so I continued my business. Then I could feel the structure start to rocking. Now this outhouse is old, but sturdily built. It's meant to hold up to Colorado winters and the occasional curious critter. It's solid, but here it was, rocking left to right. Enough already. I'll take as long as needed. The rocking stopped. Then came a low sound, a deep growling. At about this time, it occurred to me that perhaps my impatient visitor wasn't my brother-in-law. The growling circled around behind the outhouse, came round the right, and settled right at the door. There's a small strip of wood that acts as a latch on the door of the outhouse. Its purpose is to keep the door from swinging open when occupied. It would not stop whatever was outside from coming in. I said in as deep and stern a voice as I could muster, "Look, if this is someone playing a game, you've got about 3 seconds before I put some holes through this door." The growling intensified, but did not move. I ain't kidding, Josh. Isaac. This is my final warning. I was practically screaming at this point. If it's not one of them messing with me, surely they would have heard all the commotion by now. I fired a shot through the door. That's when the roof came off the outhouse. Peeled off like the lid on a can of peanuts. My shame was laid bare to the stars, except there were no stars, only hot breath and the ugliest face I ever had the displeasure of witnessing. If I wasn't already properly oriented, I would have soiled myself. The growling had ceased, but the look on this creature's face told the story clear enough. "You effed up, son." After a moment, I remembered my chosen protection, only I must have dropped it sometime when reality came crashing down. I was as helpless as a turtle on its back. The face shifted slightly, and a large, hairless palm came over the wall and began descending towards me. I had only time enough to shrink to the bottom of the outhouse when another shot rang out. With it, the palm recoiled and came the sound of crashing brush leading away. After an eternity of silence, my nephew spoke up, "Uncle Dan, you all right?" I must have passed out because my next recollection was being dragged onto the porch by Josh and Isaac. "That was the biggest damn bear I ever saw," Isaac squeaked. "Language," came Josh's reply. They told me that both of them had woken up to my shouting. Isaac first saw the bear leaning up against the front of the outhouse. When it pulled off the roof, Josh grabbed the tool, and did what I should have done to start. I feigned stomach problems for the rest of the trip while they went out hunting. I haven't admitted to anyone I know personally what I saw. I don't expect I'll be out to the cabin anytime soon, and I'll not tease anyone for not just taking care of it and going back to bed going forward.